And we're talking about Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Up next on Geek SA. Do not attempt to adjust your YouTube video. We control the stream. And welcome back to Geek SA. It's Friday and we're having fun.
Sometimes whenever you say that, it reminds me of Lyle and Han from back in the day on 99.5 Kiss. And they used to say, and we don't give a...
Damn.
And I think you're going to say that, and then you don't, and I'm like, wait, what? I feel like I'm in another dimension myself. No. The Mandela effect.
Oh, God. I hate when that happens.
I hate when that happens, too. Oh, this stupid mic. Okay, go ahead. Do your thing.
It fall off on you?
Yeah,
or what?
it fell off.
Should be fine. Should pick you up.
Well, yeah, anything can pick me up because I'm the loudest human being on the planet.
Yeah. But they can, hear all of that.
I know. Not if it's muted.
He muted it.
He muted me.
Good job.
So as not to hear me. He's like, we're sick of this chick. Let's turn her off.
So we finally got to see Doctor Strange.
Well, yeah, so there's a story. There's always a story.
Yeah.
So Vince wanted to see Doctor Strange, obviously. And I'm like, oh, it's cool. I want to see it too, but I'm not dying to go opening night because I don't like humans, right? So I'm like, I don't really want to be there where the other humans are there. And it's the weekend of Mother's Day. So I'm like, oh, our moms love to go to the movies with us. They love the movies. It's a whole thing, right? So my mom is in her early 70s and his mom is in her late 60s. So we take them to this movie. And they haven't seen any of the back stuff that we're going to talk about in a minute.
Right.
So they kind of don't know what's going on. And they're old. And they stay up too much. And they don't sleep properly. So they both fall asleep during this movie. So then he's looking over at me during the movie. And he's mad at me. Because we've taken them and paid for this movie that he wanted to see. That now they're snoring through. So, yeah.
At least you got the senior tickets, hopefully.
It was the matinee, so it was all the same price, yeah. Because I like to go early in the day on the weekend when less people are out, so that, I don't have to deal with humans.
But of course, if we ever saw this on TV, we could never watch this TV on TV at night or during the day. We have to watch it at night. That's Colleen's thing.
Well, I don't like to watch certain things that are kind of dark during the day because there's too much light and it ruins the ambiance of what you're trying to do.
We can black it out in our
It's not
house.
the same. It's not the same. I want it to be night. Look, I have weird rules about stuff just like everybody else. Don't pretend like y'all don't. So, yeah, it has to be black. It has to be dark. It has to be nighttime when you're going to watch something creepy, scary. And I was surprised my mom made it through this because the Scarlet Witch. So my mom is if you've never watched the show before, my parents were super duper Christianal. One year they put out a tapestry that my dad had made of Mary and the baby Jesus during Halloween, super Christianal. If I wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons, my friends had to come over so that my mom could make sure we weren't worshiping Satan like that.
And Jesus had to be an NPC.
No, Jesus was not an NPC. You shut up. And so witchcraft was always a really big thing. It was a no-no. I used to watch the Smurfs, and then she found out that there was witchcraft in the Smurfs, and we couldn't watch the Smurfs for a long time, and then you couldn't watch the Care Bears because they had magic. And I'm surprised I was allowed to let my children read Harry Potter. It's just always been a thing. So I thought, how's she going to do? But she slept through most of that part, so it was fine.
Yeah, so who was it? Jesus came down and saved everybody.
Jesus came down and raptured everybody, and they went to another dimension. The end.
I think Elizabeth Olsen, the one that plays Scarlet Witch, she's been talking a lot about how Hollywood has been viewing Marvel movies. And how, all these directors, Marvel movies are garbage and this and that. They're great movies. I don't know what they're looking at. Is that because they're making a lot of movies that are making a lot of money,
I like them. I like how cinematic they are. I mean, they're not art pieces, but they're not supposed to be art pieces.
No.
You know, if you want to go see an art piece, then you want to go see a multi-dimensional art piece, you go see everything, everybody, everywhere, all the time, every place, whatever it's called.
I still need to watch
and we'd
it.
like to see
I
that,
wanna see
and
that
that's
one, too.
fine. But that's an art piece, and you know it's an art piece.
Mm-hmm.
But these directors that are slamming these people for giving us entertainment, well, isn't that supposed to be what the movies are for? Yes, there's a place for this art, right? Form of movies that are art pieces, and we like some of them, just like Pan's Labyrinth. Pan's Labyrinth is more of an art piece by Guillermo del Toro than, you know, like Hellboy, right?
Right.
Right? So everybody needs to stay in their lane, I think, right?
Yeah.
Like, stay in your lane, bro, and mind your business. Everybody thinks that they need to put their opinions on what everybody else can do and stuff. There are billions of us out there. You know, if hundreds and thousands of us want to watch these Marvel movies and we enjoy them and they're good entertainment,
like it, so
what
need
do
to
you
get
care?
over
What
it.
do you care? Is it hurting you? It's not hurting you. Make your art piece. That's fine. A lot of people don't even intellectually understand the art piece. You have to realize that most of the people in this country read like at a 5th grade level. You know, some of them are lucky to get up to the 8th grade level. They don't have the intellect to understand these art pieces. They don't understand what's going on. They don't even understand some of these shows. Some of the Marvel shows and stuff are even above their capacity, and they can't follow the storylines, and they don't know what's going on. So to get them to be allowed to be part of the universe, it's okay to just have fun movies that, you know, have a decent storyline, and you don't have to pick it apart all the time.
Did y'all see Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, the Nicolas Cage film?
I haven't seen it. No.
Okay. You comment like that, and there's a line in that film that makes sense because they're building this kind of like art piece, because it's a movie inside a movie kind of thing, right? So Nicolas Cage and Pascal are talking because they eventually, it's not going to really ruin the story because there's more to it, but they talk about a script they're writing together. And it's going like more of like an artsy kind of piece, but like you just said, they even comment in there that, oh, we need that hook. We need that trailer scene that gets people to want to see these kind of films, and it needs to be this way. There's a reason he says it in the film. I don't want to give that away, but it's true. You need that trailer. You need that hook.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like a
talking
song.
about a trailer, we have the trailer if you haven't seen it, because a lot of people still haven't seen it yet. So let's go ahead and cue that up. And
Every night, I dream the same dream. And then, the nightmare begins. I did what I had to do to protect our world.
You cannot control everything, Strange. You opened the doorway between universes, and we don't know who or what will walk through it.
Wanda, what do you know about the multiverse?
Viz had his theories. He believed it was dangerous.
He was right.
I'm sorry, Stephen. Your desecration of reality will not go unpunished.
We should tell him the truth.
Things just got out of hand.
You break the rules. Look out! To become a hero. I do it, I become the enemy. It doesn't seem fair.
just that.
I know. I don't know how they can say that Marvel movies don't have depth and don't have good storyline when here you have the Scarlet Witch and we've seen all that she's had to go through with losing her family and being on the wrong side and then being on the right side.
But here's the whole thing. There's a whole thing that they're missing when you're going, because you need to this movie you need to see other things before you get to this.
It definitely helps. It definitely helps, especially to understand where Wanda's coming from. I think you really need to see WandaVision. But people seemed to have a hard time with WandaVision and didn't.
I think we have like a graphic for like WandaVision in there.
Yeah. And didn't enjoy seeing it, but I really did enjoy seeing it because here is this woman, this hero, anti-hero, whatever you want to call her, with these spectacular powers, and she has gone Spider-Man. Through all of this tragedy and all of this tragedy and all of this tragedy. You know, she's had to destroy the man she loves, so she's lost out on this family unit that she's always longed for, and then she creates it, and she ends up hurting people, and
she's very broken.
She's broken, and it's so sad to see how broken she is. And then when you get to see her go from WandaVision and you see her in this movie, and it just kind of, to me, I guess because I really love this character in these movies, I haven't read her comic, but in the movies and through her show, and then when she's there in the orchard in the movie, and it's so beautiful and it's bright, and you think maybe, just maybe, she's learned to live with this pain and move through the pain, and then it all dissolves around her, and you know that the pain and anguish has consumed her.
Yeah.
It breaks your heart in a way. So if people don't get that from this movie, I think they're watching the wrong movie. They're not paying attention when they watch the movie.
And I don't think they watched WandaVision.
You didn't get that, Aaron?
If you
there's too many plot holes to make it okay. So if you go from WandaVision, she's holding. I guess my problem is we don't understand 100% how the book of the Dam essentially works, because they say if you read it, it's going to start corrupting you, right? And we see that at the end with Strange getting the third eye. But my problem is this: she is supposed to be all powerful, and she is the Scarlet Witch essentially. At the end of WandaVision, the after credit scene of the show, we hear the boys yell for help. That's not played off anymore. You never touch back on that. So why is the film she's looking for a universe to steal the kids from another Wanda versus looking for the universe that the kids are asking for help from? There's no connection to that. So it's like, why didn't we do that? Why is it that she's looking for somebody's kids to steal versus somebody's asking for help?
I didn't get that she was looking for somebody's kids to steal. I didn't get that at all. My understanding was she was just trying to get the power so that she could find her kids. She wasn't trying to steal anybody's kids. They made that when she did the sleepwalking. Strange and them made that assumption, but that was not where she was, and she was too angry to explain to them. That was not what I read from the movie. I read from the movie that she wanted to steal America's powers so she could go to every dimension she could find and find her boys.
See the way.
And then when she did the sleepwalking, she just happened to sleepwalk into that dimension because that's where America and Strange were. She was just trying to get them. She wasn't trying to take over her life in that dimension. And everybody just took it wrong. And by then, she was so crazed by her power, by the book, by her sadness, that she no longer is explaining herself. She tries to be calm and explain herself at the beginning. And she says, look, just stay out of my way. I just want to find my kids. She specifically says that. She says, just stay out of my way. I want to find my kids.
At the sacrifice of other people.
She didn't say that.
By killing America, she knew she was going to kill America Chavez. That is a sacrifice of other people.
That one person.
That's still a sacrifice.
But it's one person. To her.
Yeah.
And the way she's thinking about it, it's for her kids.
And she's like, I sacrificed Vision.
Mm-hmm.
I sacrificed my brother. I've sacrificed. This little girl can sacrifice for me.
But she knows. See, that's the other thing. She knows there's another Vision out there. Why isn't she looking for him?
Because as a mother, your children come first. I'm telling you, as a mother, like, I love my husband, and if he died, okay, I'd be sad for a while, but, like, my kids, like...
I guess that's where I nullify that part. It's like, well, I lost Vision. Well, Vision's still out there, technically. So that kind of, for me, almost null and voids itself. So I can't use that one. And, like, they flat out ask her...
Are we certain that Vision is out there?
Yes, and the WandaVision. Remember, the artificial Vision flies off. He is still alive.
But that's not her Vision.
Yeah, you could argue it's not her Vision, but you could also argue the other way that the other Vision tried to implant himself kind of in there. Like, he's trying to awaken him.
Yeah, but at this point, she's altered by the book.
Right, and you have to add that.
And she's altered by her grief, right?
Right.
So she's in a mental crisis, and I think some of y'all are putting this on her as though she's thinking straight, and she's making logical
rational decisions,
and she should not be making rational decisions.
I mean, I agree. There's just too many plot holes for this film for me in general.
I just didn't see the plot holes that you see.
Wong's tied up, right?
Okay.
Strung out. Why didn't we stab Wanda instead? I'm gonna stab the book of the Dam. No. Stab Wanda. She's completely vulnerable. Knife in the chest.
So that
she's
I
dead.
didn't get, but that's a comic. But that's a comic book trope.
It is.
Come on, that's a comic book trope.
For me, it's just too much out there. Like, why didn't she make golems? Because she can create golems to be like, this is why you're not gonna hit her.
But she was focusing on her goal. That's it.
Dr. Doom even has Doombots to protect him.
I know, but you know that in a comic story, there's always plot holes. There's always plot holes because that's how they get you to have these characters that keep going on forever and ever.
I think you have to look at it from a mom perspective.
Yeah.
When you're looking at that and what a mom will do.
I mean, I guess I'm opposite. I would have wiped out the whole thing before I did anything. I would have killed all the wizards and sorcerers. I would have been like, okay, I don't have any threat left. Wong wouldn't have been hung up there. He would have been dead with everybody else. And then I would do something.
But she's trying. She says, I'm trying. Like, you guys keep pushing me, and I'm trying to do what's right. Like, I'm trying
because she wasn't an Avenger for very long.
No, not at all.
So
and you have to also,
she's not necessarily
a good guy, per se.
Yeah,
good
guy.
And they didn't treat her right anyway. If you look at Civil War,
right?
They literally locked her in a room.
Right, exactly. So I think she has a lot of reasons. She has a lot more reasons to have obliterated all of them, and for her to hold back and not do it and say, "Look, I'm really just trying to take this one child." And then, okay, you stood in my way, so I'm gonna kill some of y'all because now I'm freaking pissed off, right? And y'all are working my last nerve. And just give me this one stupid child that y'all don't even know. Like, you've known her for 3 seconds. You know, give me the kid, right?
Also, I didn't get the ox guy, like the one random ox.
But like Scarlet Witch is the most powerful.
She's alpha level, yeah.
Yeah, she's like one of the most powerful. She could have.
She's one of those NPCs that you never want to come in contact with. Like, sometimes some of these comic book writers write this stuff. Like, even America, if you look at America Chavez's character in the comics, they gave her way too many powers. Mm-hmm. Like, it's ridiculous. It's stupid. Captain Marvel.
But she could have wiped Thanos out of existence.
Yeah,
she could have done it, but she didn't.
That's what happens.
She didn't know how to do that.
That's what happens with these comic writers, though, is they make these super strong characters, and then they realize, oh crap, that character can do all of this stuff, but I can't write them to do all of this stuff because then it tears down all this other stuff over here. So they get these dichotomies in comics. So I think you have to understand that going into a movie, that you are going to have some plot holes, like Aaron says, because you have all these super powerful beings, and this one really should be able to obliterate this one. But if we obliterate this one, then the story doesn't go on, and then we have a 20-minute movie. You know, so it's like...
I mean, to me, it's why they made this movie was to get rid of her. Because now it's like, she's too OP. Like, we can't... What are you going to do? You're going to have every movie be like, the whole world's going to end, and then you have to bring Wanda out every time.
Right.
So it's one of those, you kind of just have to, like... It's kind of like the Eternals when they comment, well, why didn't y'all interfere? Like, y'all could have stopped Thanos too. We weren't supposed. We were told not to, but yeah, we could have killed him. Like,
well, I mean, we could have done all these things, you know,
yeah. and I love how you say that though, because my other problem was the whole Illuminati. That made me mad. That whole scene.
Why? It's
So-
just supposed to give the whole point of that scene is
yeah.
just so that they can do Illuminati spinoffs.
It
You
was
know
it
that.
was a fan base. It was for the fans. It was like, here you go. Here's Reed Richards. Here's everybody.
And it's so that they can do spinoffs. They're already
Yeah.
talking about him being Reed Richards in the Fantastic
Well,
Four.
they've been
already
talking about
got
that for
in
a
the
while.
works. They're
Yeah.
already talking about doing an Illuminati show.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
But let's face it, we're not gonna get another Inhumans. They're gone. They're not
Yeah.
gonna happen anymore. But you had Inhumans in there because you had Black Bolt. It was a fan service moment, and I didn't like it because it was that same thing. You put too many people who could have killed Scarlet Witch in any moment, and it was like Robert said, we did this in our review. Yeah, this guy right here, he could take you out with the whisper. Okay, well that was easy. Now what are you gonna do? Like literally, I took him out, and I love Black Bolt in the comics. I hate him in this movie because first of all, the whole like sign language, like you just assume Doctor Strange understands sign language.
right.
Like, I would have looked at him and been like, I don't know what you said.
What do you want from me,
Like,
bro?
Yeah, I mean, and I'm sorry, they actually used his full name, Blackagar Boltagon. I was like, really? Okay. But like, this man is supposed to be trained not to use his voice. He's supposed to be able to like hit him. He's not supposed to make any sounds. And you're telling me losing your mouth is like the freakiest thing in the whole dang world that's all of a sudden going to make you scream? Like, that was kind of dumb. And then they comment when he comes in, the smartest man in the world, Reed Richards. And what is he going to do? I'm just going to reach out and touch something. Nope. Never mind. Dead. And I was like, you have a gadget you could have used probably in your back room somewhere to take her out. And you showed, like Robert said, you showed that you can teleport. He could have easily like sent something to Sue on the way there. Like, hey, send me the device to the ultimate nullifier or whatever weapon I need. And then you got, let's face it, you left your trump card back with Doctor Strange for plot movement. Hey, by the way, the book is over here. They're all dead now. I'm gonna go try to do something, but they're all dead.
Did they anticipate in that dimension that she was that powerful?
I guess again, as the Illuminati in the comics, they'd kill everybody. They don't care. So what I would have done as the Illuminati, Reed Richards comes in, distracts her for a second. Professor X shuts her down. Even if he shuts her down for 5 seconds, Black Bolt whispers in her ear. Her brains all scattered all over the wall. Congratulations, Illuminati, you just killed the Scarlet Witch like nothing. And then walk away. Have a cup
I know,
of tea.
but then we don't get the
You don't get the rest of the
we
movie.
don't get the rest of the movie, so you gotta.
It's right.
You know,
It's
you
just
gotta,
one of those like. I wish they wouldn't have brought him out. I just like.
just wish they hadn't introduced him in there at all.
Like if it wasn't or get rid of Black Bolt and get rid of Professor X, put him with somebody else that's weaker, that makes sense. Like Reed, like you
But
said, Reed
again,
isn't
like
ready.
you said, those moments were, and you say they're fan service, but I say they're not fan service because the true fans know what coulda, shoulda, woulda happened,
Yeah.
right? So what it is let me introduce these characters to people who have never read these comics,
Yeah.
who don't know about the Illuminati. Let me introduce them so I can do spinoffs with them so that I can keep making money for the next 20 years.
I mean,
right?
that's not wrong.
Not
wrong.
I mean, some of it, when we go to watch a movie, we have to understand that that's what's
Yeah.
happening, right? And so
I
that
just-
was definitely what happened with them.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I could see it that way. I just, again, my mind goes to you have the 3 strongest men in the room that could have just killed her in an instant. Because let's face it, Professor X is the strongest psychic too, or telekinetic, whatever you want to call it, psychic, because he doesn't have telekinesis.
Yeah.
So he could have shut her mind down like he did, and then Black Bolt just whispers right in her ear, and then they have a little painting contest afterwards.
Yeah. Yes, it could have gone much differently. It definitely should have. with all
Although
of
Carter
those
should not have lasted as long as she did too.
But there's something that we love about Agent Carter as
Yes.
Captain America. I think there's something that we all love. And again, they do try to feed us a lot of girl power nowadays.
Yes.
So we did have to get some of that. But
And that was okay for me. I was
I'm all
laughing.
for Agent Carter. I loved Agent Carter the show.
Yeah.
When she was just regular Agent Carter, and then I loved the What If episode.
The What If episode was really
where
good.
we get to see her as Captain America. And I think that they were trying to give the people that viewed the What If episodes those tie-togethers.
Yeah.
So here she is. So here's this What If, and then we're going to go into the Doctor Strange What If, right? And we're going to get some of that. And so I think they were trying. I think they're trying to tie it all together because then, if you haven't seen the What If and now you're curious, now you'll go back and watch it, and maybe
get
you'll
your
get
$8.
Disney. Yeah, it's marketing, right?
Yeah,
Which is
it
what they
is.
used to do to us with toys, and now they're doing to us with streaming services, right?
That's not wrong. Not wrong.
I mean, let's just be honest.
And I think I need to see it again, but I've been doing some research. In the movie, does the Scarlet Witch break the fourth wall?
And talk to us?
She looks at she looks into the camera, like into the audience.
I don't think so.
I don't remember that.
I heard somewhere that I got to see it again, because I've only seen it once. Because
Yeah.
I might have missed it because I was checking on the sleeping mothers.
I don't remember that because I've seen it twice now, I think. So.
But apparently there's.
That's definitely
at
one of
some
those kind of
point
movies that you do need to see twice. Yeah, you definitely need to see it twice.
that
So
she
it's
looks
subsequent.
directly into the camera,
She's threatening us now.
like
too.
she knows that we're here, that we're there.
Oh, that's pretty cool, actually. I like
Yeah.
that.
That would make
she-
sense, especially with Sam Raimi.
That
Yeah.
that
That's
she's
like his
that
thing.
powerful. So
And then, how did you like the Evil Dead reference?
of course I was like, yes.
Bruce Campbell.
I
You
was
have
like,
to have Bruce Campbell. I know. I was like,
That's
I get
funny.
it. I get it. I got that one. I
It's
don't know.
over.
I don't always get so much, but oh my God, Vince loved that Evil Dead show. It was so campy. Like I kind of loved it for how horrible it was.
Yeah.
It was so horrible, but it was great. It's Sam Raimi. Everything he touches is weird.
It's
Mhm.
yeah. It is.
but it was good. I like that.
So then the other thing you have is this connection to What If. So we do have kind of a little What If. So What If was on Disney. It was an animated series. So if you haven't seen it, and it gives you this what if. So in this superhero thing happened to so and so instead of so and so, or like what if. So in the Doctor Strange one, it's like what if Christine is the one who gets maimed or killed in the accident and not Strange. And so it's more about this love story between him and Christine across dimensions and what he does to try to get her back. So
Right.
I kind of liked that they did that, but like a slight, I guess like a slight spin on it, unless I'm remembering it incorrectly. But in the movie, it's more like there's a Christine and a Doctor Strange in every dimension, and they just have problems in every dimension. Like they just can't get their crap together in every dimension.
Right.
It's not so much that he's trying to bring her back to life or anything like that. She's just out there and he's out there, and they're just not making it work, you know.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a good kind of segue between the two, so that it wasn't exactly the same.
Right.
And I really liked the watch and the timepiece going throughout that, and what that signifies if you've been paying attention. But I won't say too
That
much
was
because
good.
there's a little bit of that in there that I thought added some nuance to the story as well.
Yeah.
So what did you think of America Chavez?
I think it was. I don't really follow her at all. Like, I didn't know about the character until like after the fact that I saw it. But I like that they're bringing more diversity to Marvel movies.
So I followed her a little bit. I haven't read a lot of her storyline, but I followed her a little bit because we did have this discussion. We've had this discussion
Right.
several times. And especially because Iceman was one of my big characters. Like, I've always loved Iceman. You know, it's been a thing for me for a long time. And then when they went back to make Iceman gay, which I don't have a problem with, but to me it's strange to say, oh yeah, we forgot to tell you all these years that this character's really this. We forgot to tell you all these years he's really this or she's really that or whatever. So I've always wanted them to just create new characters.
Right.
You know, create more characters. And so America Chavez was a good example of them creating a homosexual character who also is Latin, who's, you know, considered Latinx. She actually is from another dimension, so she's not technically Latin, but whatever.
But they don't really push that she's like homosexual.
Not until a little bit later.
I mean, they talk about her moms,
Yeah.
but later they
but that
do,
doesn't necessarily say that.
No. But
Yeah.
later they do talk about her sexuality and her kind of coming out. So I actually have a book by one of the authors that wrote America Chavez, Gabby Rivera. She wrote this book called Juliet Takes a Breath, and it's about her own personal experiences of being Latinx and being homosexual, and what she brought to. I've read like what she brought to America Chavez. A lot came from this novel as well, because she grew up in that Hispanic culture.
Right.
So and she grew up in the Catholic Hispanic culture. And so in the comic, America, as we see in the movie, she used to live in this other dimension. In the movie, her moms accidentally get taken away. In the comics, they end up getting killed. They're trying to save her. And so she comes to Earth 616, which is where Doctor Strange is and everything in the movie. And in her comic, she lives in Washington Heights with a Latin family. And so it's kind of that same, like, there's this culture, and like where she's from, it's not a big deal, right? To be homosexual, but here on 616, it's a big deal, but not a big deal. You know, it's this like struggle of, it's not a big deal, but it kind of is a big deal and stuff like that. So, I thought that this book that she did and the comic is really good for young adults. Just be aware that she does have some graphic language that she uses, and she does talk about female genitalia in a way that might be considered crass. So it's a good book, but you be sure that you know like what's in it before you let your teenager potentially read it, if you're concerned about them hearing that kind of language or seeing those kinds of words.
But is
she
that
does talk about,
considered like a YA?
It's considered a YA book, but it's supposed to be more for high schoolers. It's supposed to be about her journey so that other kids can understand the journey, which is what she wrote some in America's in like 2018, 2017, something like that.
Right.
She wrote that kind of into her storyline. I don't know if they're going to go into that in the movies or the shows. But it's so that different people have different representation in the comics, right? We've had a lot of white male representation in the comics, right? We've had a lot of white female representation in the comics. We've had a lot of heterosexual representation in the comics, which is all fine because it's written by white heterosexual males. Okay, we get it, but now let's have some diversity of writers, and I think that they're starting to try to do that.
Right.
So it was nice to see America Chavez in this, just because it gives us a chance for her to be an offshoot, right?
Yeah, well, it's really hard to see like Mexican American characters in anything. I mean, I think one of the first ones I saw was El Diablo. And then you don't really get much after that.
They really didn't kick into Miles, wasn't
There's a Ghost Rider that's Hispanic. And
Miles Morales.
There's Spider-Man. Miles Morales.
What's
He's
his name?
like part.
Yeah, he's like Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican and black, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was the other one I could see? It's just all of them. There's like one other big one, but I can't remember.
I don't remember what other.
But there's,
I mean, I guess you can go
comparatively. There's not a lot.
Not a lot. Not a lot.
There's even more black characters than there are Hispanic characters.
Yeah. And I tried to read, because we were talking about maybe doing like a luchador. We wanted to do like a luchador role-playing game, and we tried to read some of the luchador comics that they had out there, and even some of those were just like,
real quick, I don't know if you saw that.
I'm like, I don't know if these were written by anyone with any Hispanic ancestry, but it's like,
oh yeah,
that's what she wears in the film. So I just wanted to I showed Vince. She actually wears that in the film. So that way it kind of hints towards where they're going. So what I showed them was a picture of America Chavez from the film. She's wearing a pin that's an LGBTQ pin. So I guess they're hinting slowly
that that's where we're going to go.
Yeah.
Well, good, because I feel like there needs to be more representation, because it's not like heterosexual people are the only ones that read comics.
Exactly.
You know, it's not like white people are the only ones that read comics, you know. So I think it's good to see that, so that other people can get that representation. So I hope that they do her justice, because they are either going to give her an offshoot movie or a series, like they've been doing. They've been really successful with the series, so I wouldn't be surprised to see it be more of a series, because I think you can get more of the storyline in a series, right?
Yeah.
Than in the.
And if I remember right, she's the only one in any dimension, right?
Yes, she says she's the only one.
She's the only one like her. Yeah.
Because she said she doesn't dream, and she's checked other ones and never found herself.
But in her comic, she has a sister, and they both have some kind of syndrome, and there's other girls out there that have a syndrome. So they have powers, but it's not the same as America's power. She's the only one that has this portal power.
Right.
But then there's somebody who's trying to recruit them, right, and trying to steal them or whatever, and to make them into a group and stuff like that. So she has a lot of tropey comic booky type stuff going on too. I mean, like you should in a comic book. So, but I can see that they have several ways that they can go with her, and I think that's nice. You know, showing that she has the two moms and everything, and getting to see some of that storyline. And getting to see her in Washington Heights, I think that would be great to that representation of that Latin neighborhood.
So if they're saying that if you have a dream or a vision, that means that there's another.
No, we can't have a vision. He's dead. Sorry.
I was going to say it. I'm glad Aaron did it. So.
There's another you in some other dimension.
Right. It's you seeing yourself in another dimension, which I thought was a really cool concept.
So.
Although, dear God, after the dreams I explained to Vincent that I had last night, let's hope I'm not doing that stuff in some of these other dimensions. I have some pretty wacky dreams.
My dreams happen, then I want it to be like Jet Li's The One, because I want all their power. Because like I keep fighting in my dreams, and some of them I die, and I'm like, does that mean I got their power now? No.
So there's another Tony Stark somewhere.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Maybe 2 or 3.
Numerous.
As long as it's not what's his face from Top Gun. I can't
Tom
think
Cruise?
Yes. As long as it's not him.
Have you seen that picture that's floating around where it's Tom Cruise and
I've been hearing that. I've been hearing that movie
crazy.
is really, really good.
The Top Gun one.
Yeah.
The Maverick.
Top Gun Maverick.
I don't know if I'll see that one.
I don't know a movie that he's been in that's been bad.
Vanilla Sky.
I like Vanilla Sky.
Okay, you need to explain that movie to me because I still don't get it 20 years later. 30 years later, whatever it was.
It's an art piece, Aaron. You're not supposed
I was
art
also
piece,
like
yeah.
8 or 9 when it came out, I think, so.
Watch it as an adult.
Will it make more sense?
No.
A little more.
A little bit.
It comes together at the very end.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you're not waiting till the end, the rest of it just means nothing.
Look, I'm already yawning because I'm bored from it.
But they've been doing a lot, doing that a lot with movies to where it comes together at the end. Like what were we watching the other day that was doing that? Oh well, Moon Knight.
Yeah. Moon Knight. They drug us along and
they're like, you're like, what, and then like, oh.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of figure, right? You kind of make some inferences, but
you didn't know.
You didn't know for sure. No. That
I don't know.
Those last couple of episodes were painful.
They
Ouch.
were.
Rough.
The last episode was really good, but yeah, the 2 leading up to it were rough. But Halo's doing that right now to me. I hate this show so much. I hate that show.
And if we watch it, we'll probably like it because we don't really play Halo.
Yeah, and that's what I'm hearing. Like people who never watch it don't mind the show, but it's the same lulls that some of us have. It's having like there's a female character in it, and it's just so boring for that character. Mm-hmm. And everyone that I know that doesn't like the show that's watched it, like, oh, I like the show, until she shows up. Then I hate the show because it's boring. It's so boring.
And that's the dichotomy of it as well, is when you have like a female character like that, if you make her too strong, then she's too strong, like they did with Masters of the Universe.
Oh, with
when they made Tila. So strong, and people didn't react.
Well, that was the newest one, right? They did
in the newest one,
and that's because it was Kevin Smith was writing it, and he wanted a strong character like that.
I loved it. I don't care what anybody says.
I haven't watched it yet.
Vincent and I like a lot of things that nobody likes. I don't know if I just.
And I was big. I was big on He-Man back.
Oh
in the
day. Yes.
Really big.
Yes. I even still have these little books from my childhood.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. And the funny thing is how y'all say that people got mad that he had the strong female character in He-Man, because I remember this was like maybe 15, 20 years ago. He got a lot of heat for putting female characters through a lot. So I don't know if you all read his take on Daredevil. He wrote Daredevil where his wife, the girl he loved, was murdered. And then a few years later, he wrote a Spider-Man run with Black Cat, and she was forced to do things. I'll say it that way. And people got mad saying he was a womanite. He was beating women and all this other stuff. And he's like, no, but this is real stuff that can happen to women. And he was writing a story about that, and they boycotted him. And it's funny, now he writes a strong female character, and people are getting mad at that. It's like he can't win.
He can't win.
It's like poor Kevin Smith.
That's the thing. Nobody who writes, directs, anything like that, they can't win.
No.
There's always going to be people out there that are like, oh, that's the worst piece of trash I ever saw. I hated it. Whatever.
And more so now than there has ever been.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is, with social media and everything, you get on there, and you're
Everybody
and then other
everybody
people
has
that
an
have your
opinion.
same opinion, and then you're getting fed your same opinion over and over and over again to where it's just getting louder and louder and louder. So yeah.
Yep.
So overall, I thought it was a good movie. I think it's definitely one that you need to watch some things, some precursors. I feel like you really need to watch WandaVision to know where the Scarlet Witch is coming from, or you won't
Right.
kind of know.
Because if you just base it on the movies, it's like out of left
It's
field.
out of left field, and you won't know. Yeah, you won't know where any of this is coming from. So you definitely need to watch WandaVision. I think What If helps, but it's not necessary. But I think it helps.
It gives you a little more feel for it.
It gives you a little more,
Yeah.
and it gives you some of that Agent Carter, Captain America type stuff and everything. So I
Because
think
then you would think, oh, why the hell is Agent Carter here, and why is she dressed like that?
yeah. Yeah.
And then you should go watch the cruddy Fantastic Four films and Inhumans and torture yourself.
Don't watch Fantastic Four ever. Don't do it. Although the ones with Jessica Alba weren't
The first one's
The
not
first one was
terrible.
decent.
terrible. It's watchable.
So let's watch the
I
first one. Don't
liked
watch
it.
the second one. at
The
all.
first one's fine. The second one, no.
Don't.
And then
Don't
the
hate
newest
yourself.
iteration, no.
Dear
no,
God,
no.
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 I
No.
think if they do it with
The new guy. I can't think
the
of his
new
name.
guy, the one from The Office, or the one from.
And he's so brilliant. He's brilliant. He
He's-
writes and directs really great stuff. So if he is involved
He's a
not
really
only
good
in
actor, too.
acting, right? If he's involved not only in the acting aspect of it, but in the directing and the writing and all of that aspect, I think that hopefully we're going to get a better story than we did before.
Finally.
You just need a really good Doctor Doom, though. Like,
Agreed.
if that's your main guy,
Yeah.
and plus that guy needs to set up other stuff, like like how Kang's gonna set up stuff. Like Doctor Doom needs to do that too. You
Yeah.
can't
Because
kill
the
him
new
off.
iteration of Fantastic Four is closer to what the comic book was,
Yeah,
but it was just done all wrong.
it was terribly done. Yeah, because they almost made him like an alien almost towards the end, wasn't it? Like he
Yeah.
became part of the metal or something. It's like, no, you're supposed to be upset about the
The
disfigurement.
acting was bad. The directing was bad. It was just the people in charge of it did not do a good job at
Fox
all.
didn't care.
Yeah.
They
were
were
trying to do
just
money
doing
grabs.
it to keep the.
Oh,
it
that's
alive.
right, because they had to do one, right, just
Yeah.
to keep the contract. I forgot about that. But yeah, it's oh my god, it was terrible.
So hopefully we'll definitely get something better out of that. And I love little Mr. Patrick Stewart as Professor X. Like, when we were growing up in the 80s, like the X-Men cartoon was like the it, right?
Mhm.
And so, and Professor X, he's that dude, right? And he takes care of you and he loves you and he loves the mutants and he wants to make everybody friends and stuff. And he's like, he's that dude. And so I want to see Patrick Stewart do a little bit more with that, hopefully, before he's done acting completely. So I would like to see them do just a little bit. They're supposed to do a little bit with the Illuminati as a whole. So, and I love Peggy Carter as Captain
Yeah.
America. So I would definitely watch an
Or
offshoot
not
of
Captain
that.
America.
Well, right. But you know what I mean. You know what I
Captain
mean.
Carter.
So I hope that they do that well.
Mhm.
And I haven't read those comics, so Aaron, you'll have to tell me a little bit more about them. I mean, so they're kind of like the boys. Just
Yeah,
blowing everybody, killing everybody.
They kind of don't mind taking somebody off the board if
Gotcha.
they feel it's necessary. But again, it's supposed to be the smartest minds of the world put together.
Right.
So it's Iron Man, Black Bolt, Mr. Fantastic, Namor, Professor X, and who am I missing? I'm missing somebody. I don't know. I can't think off the top of my head who I'm missing because there's 6 of them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they're supposed to be like the smartest ones. Oh, Miss Reed Richards, Reed. So it's like they're all supposed to be up there, and they don't mind doing the things that the teams won't do.
Gotcha.
And I don't know if you ever read. Well, you read X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember at one point this is when I was reading X-Men, XForce was kind of kept off the books, and they were basically a hit squad for Scott Summers when he was running them. He's like, you're going on the missions that like the public doesn't need to know what these X-Men are like saving the world. He's like, but I need this guy dead. I'm gonna send you in instead. And it was like X-23, Deadpool, Wolverine, like all the Blade characters.
Right.
I forgot the guy who had the knives. It was like all of them. And I was like, yeah, when I need someone off the board, you go and do it.
You guys go.
We're not gonna send the X-Men, and we're not gonna send Iceman and all that. No, they're gonna be the public one. That's kind of what they look like. Like, hey, our teams are the public figures, but when somebody needs to be taken off, we're gonna do it. They're the ones that sent the Hulk into space. It was them. They tricked
Okay.
everybody. Like, yeah, Hulk, you're gonna go fix this space station. And then it was like, no, we just wanted to make an excuse to get you up there, and now we're launching your butt to a whole another planet, and good luck. And that's when he came back for World War Hulk, he was targeting each team because each one of the teams had, like Iron Man, Fantastic Four, whatever. And he targeted each one. So, yeah, that's what they don't mind doing stuff like that.
Nice. So I think that'll be a good thing to see, too, as we get to see the opposite side of that, because so much we get to see the heroes that, they draw that line, you know, and they don't cross it. And that's what makes them heroes. But we all know that sometimes the line needs to be crossed. Like, some of these people need to be dealt with post-haste.
That's where you gotta agree to Rhodey when he's like, can't we just go find baby Thanos and just, Sure, you gotta agree with him.
Yep, for sure.
Well, awesome. I really enjoyed the movie. I definitely think you should see it if you haven't seen it. Like I said, watch the stuff before.
And just real quick before you end, just because we've been talking about all these comic books, we have a little video out there for y'all to see for Free Comic Book Day. You might want to ask, some of your local comic shops might still have some of these comic books available. Yeah. I've asked before to get some for my classroom, and they've had some still available. So go ask them if they have any free comics left, and you get to see some of these storylines, and you get to kind of become interested in them if you want to. Right. We had a stack like this high, and I've made it through about this many of them so far to get to see some of them. But the Ninja Turtle ones has some of the old school Eastman art in it, just like the last Ronin series did and stuff like that. And there's some other really cool stuff. So go ask and see if you can get some of these free comic books, okay?
Awesome. Well, thanks for checking this out. If you haven't clicked on that subscribe button, please click on that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so the next time we go live, you'll know. And Vince?
He's Vince, and I'm Colleen, and that's Aaron.
Geek out us,
Geek out us, eh?